Now we see what's happening in France. They're basically voting for their own national suicide. This is an article out of the Daily Mail, which was actually, we covered it a week ago, but it's integral to what happened yesterday. Headline, French election farce. Polling card blunder means 500,000 people could vote twice, could spell peril for Marine Le Pen. Now, bearing in mind, she came second, but as we'd said last week, she probably needed to win to build that momentum. Macron probably needed to be eliminated because he is the establishment candidate. They all will rally around him for the second round, and the polls show overwhelmingly that he will almost certainly win. Problem is, 500,000 people living outside of France, who the vast majority of whom would be expected to vote for candidates other than Marine Le Pen, received 2 ballots. Oh, and by the way, the French government doesn't really care about it. They might investigate it after the election. The French police don't really care about it. They might investigate it after the election. They're just going to let it go. Imagine if Marine Le Pen supporters had been sent 500,000 extra ballots, you know, in a predominantly Le Pen supporting area. There'd be an absolute outrage. They'd probably suspend the election. It happens in favor of the establishment candidate because these people living outside of France are more likely to be leftist, globalists. They're going to vote for him. It happens there. Nobody gives a damn. Oh, we might investigate it after the election. She loses by 2%. Again, she's through to the second round, but she came second. She lost to Macron by 2%. That reversed itself, by the way, during the course of the vote. She was ahead by 3 to 4% at one point. Oh, but just by coincidence, a late onrush of votes for Macron, and 500,000 people, mainly his supporters, just got mailed 2 ballots by accident, and nobody really cares about it. We might investigate it after, you know, who cares? Absolutely incredible stuff. 500,000 extra ballots sent out. So no wonder he's come first. I mean, incredible. Westminster reports Le Pen-Macron TV debate on May the 3rd. Now, Macron's actually agreed to this debate, which a lot of people are surprised about because, of course, he's way ahead in the polls. He can only lose ground. She can only gain ground in a debate, but she would probably need to absolutely slaughter him to regain anything like what she needs to get close to him in the final 2 weeks of this election. Again, the question is, you know, France's next election is going to be in 5 years' time. They're continuing the same policies if they vote in Macron. Literally a Rothschild banker who's been working integrally within the French government, the same highly unpopular, outgoing socialist French government that got just 6% of the vote. He's been in that government for years. Before that, he was a Rothschild banker. His entire shtick, this fake populist crap, was cooked up from within the French bureaucracy. He's the new Obama, hope and change, offering no change whatsoever. He's not going to shut down the mosques. He's not going to restrict Islamic immigration, which the vast majority of French people want. He's going to do absolutely nothing. This is just a continuation of Hollande. So they're voting for national suicide. It's basically over. Can they survive 5 years of it? Imagine the same policies in 5 years' time. 21 jihadist attacks in France since January 2015. They're voting for more of the same. Absolute insanity. Sputnik reports French presidential hopeful Le Pen wins 5% of votes in Paris. 5%. French presidential candidate Marine Le Pen, who succeeded to finish second in the first round of the presidential vote, gathered support of less than 5%. It was about 4.99% of voters living in the country's capital, the French Interior Ministry said Sunday after they counted 100% of the ballots. Macron, the establishment candidate, got 34.83% in Paris. So the epicenter of the jihadist attacks, 6 massive attacks in the last 3 years, and they overwhelmingly vote for more of the same. Do these people deserve what they get at some point? I mean, it's absolutely harrowing at this point. 5%, just 5% voted for Marine Le Pen. Here's an even more concerning story, which is translated out of a French news source called ParisMatch.com. ISIS moves 820 kilos of explosives from Turkey to France. Absolutely harrowing story. We translated it. In fact, I'm going to write this up for an article because English language media hasn't reported on it yet. According to Turkish authorities, Daesh, or ISIS, has recently sought to traffic a large quantity of explosives for a major operation on French territory. Members of the Islamic State have allegedly activated in recent weeks to carry 820 kilos of explosives from Turkey to France, according to a statement by Turkish authorities. Paris Match has been able to verify the claims. So they're talking about this. Can they stop it? Did they stop it? 820 kilos of explosives trafficked to France through Italy via Turkey. Of course, we had all the reports about the terror attacks focusing on the election. We had the attack on Friday where the police officer was shot. Now they're talking about 820 kilos of explosives trafficked into France for this major operation. Could there be another attack right before the election? Of course, it would only likely benefit Marine Le Pen. But given that she only got 5% of the vote in Paris, they're probably fully signed over to Stockholm Syndrome at this point. Hug a Muslim, continue the same policies, continue the same level of bloodshed. Absolutely amazing what's taking place in France right now. Again, as Delingpole points out in that article, which we flashed up earlier, doesn't mean that this nationalist or populist revolution sweeping the West is over if Marine Le Pen doesn't win. She's made strides. She's made strides since 5 years ago. She'll make strides again in 5 years. But what, if anything, will be left of polite society in France in 5 years' time? But again, 500,000 extra ballots sent out to people who are likely not her supporters. Probably a pretty good reason as to why Macron was able to make up that deficit, which we saw during the final hours of voting yesterday, and get that extra 2% he needed to carry the momentum through to the second round, which is on May the 7th.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.